Good morning to you. I'm always pleased to come your way with the most interactive program on TV. Join News Interactive with me, Bernice Abubedu. Thanks for joining the show. Let me just summarize what we'll be discussing today. NSS or NASPA insurance package, important or not? We'll be speaking to some service personnel who are kicking against the policy. And Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa has apologized for his discriminatory comments. Some Ghanaians aren't satisfied. We'll be hearing from them. You can join the conversation on our Facebook page. Our name is Joy News on TV. When you get there, the various issues are posted there, and I'll be glad to share what you have to say with the rest of the world. We are also live on Multi TV, live on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Well, life is unpredictable, so it's important to get yourself insured, so say the experts. Getting insured is a personal decision. Well, the only mandatory insurance we can say we know of here in Ghana has to do with when you have vehicles and you have to get them insured. That. But the National Service Personnel Association, NASPA, through the National Service Secretariat, has introduced a new mandatory insurance policy for service personnel. Many unhappy about the decision, and NASPA was established in 1983 under the Ghana National Service Scheme to see to the welfare of service personnel. We'll be speaking to some service personnel shortly who are unhappy about this decision. Some of them are even calling themselves concerned national service personnel, and they are kicking against this mandatory insurance package. But some of you have been sharing your thoughts with us. Abu Swing on Facebook says, discourage the NSS insurance package or face our wrath. Now that's coming from the concerned national service personnel. Kwesi Boating says, in Ghana, when I hear of the word insurance, then he says stealing comes to mind. It's a good policy, but the end product will make the entire thing junk. That's what he says. Try to demand your entitlement, and that is when you know that God is love. He writes that in Chinyamea Odo. Charles II says, if you want to deduct insurance from the NSS allowance, then please do say for teachers and nursing students too, because they're all enjoying what we call alawa, that allowance cut short. Adamu Emmanuel says, they should make NHIS work. Many people are having insurance policies, and he even goes to talk about a service provider there that has policies. And he says the idea is not bad, but the angle to which they are taking or implementing it is bad and fraudulent. He's asking, why compulsory? And he says that state can compulsory insure NSS personnel without taking a dime from them. Desachi says, broad daylight robbery by a cartel. That's what he says. Just calculate and see how much these companies are going to make every year without actually paying much claims, because insurance expires once the service year is ended and commences with another batch of service personnel the following year. He says it's a setup. But we've got Yakubu Mohammed Abdul Razak. He's NASPA's coordinating secretary. He joins us on the line. Hello, Yakubu. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, great. So I've just been sharing some thoughts by Ghanaians on our social media page. They think this is fraudulent. They think it's just one way to make money of national service personnel. What's your response to that?
Thank you very much. And let me give you a background or brief history of NASPA. It's an association of service personnel across the country. And we have leadership from the district, regional, to national. Somewhere in May 23rd to 25th of May this year, leadership of NASPA across the country met at Titatel Hotel in Kumasi, and some decisions were made in respect of how to champion or to continue to do our work of welfare to service personnel. A lot of issues were raised. In fact, you look at issues like personnel crossing water borders to do their service. We, as part of several interventions, life jackets were procured to be given to such personnel to help them do their national assignment. There was an insurance policy that we are talking about now, and we was also dealing with accommodation problems. So as I talk to you, We are working on the insurance. We are working on the accommodation, and we have actually sent a lot of the life jackets to these deprived communities and personnel.
All right. Yakubu, what do you say to those who believe that because of the nature of this initiative, you've given us reasons for it, but because of the nature of it, you should have gone down to every single member if you could, or even create a national conversation around this and get to see what people have to say before you implement it?
Thank you very much for this wonderful question. We have done that. We are still doing that, and we will continue to do that. And what happens with the insurance is every now and then we have on our desk people coming to report to us that I was going to so and so to do my service. I was injured in the process. I was working in so and so lab. I was injured in the process. A clear example of such numerous cases was a gentleman who was doing his service with the Ghana Standards Authority. He entered a lab and accidentally acid poured on him. He has to deal with this, and these are and so many other people and considerations why we.
Sorry to cutting. It seems that I'm not getting the answer to my question. The service personnel claim you didn't inform them about this. They're not aware. Is a surprise that's been sprung on them.
It is not a surprise in the sense that the structure of the association is such that they are just coming into the national service system. In fact, we have actually initiated processes. We have actually started informing them. It's true. It's not all of them at this point who are aware. But I can tell you that a lot of them, more than 70%, 80% of personnel are aware of this particular policy that we are bringing on board.
Okay. Interesting, you say a lot of them, but the reaction we are getting on social media especially is that they do not know about it. But another problem with this package is the fact that it's mandatory. Why?
Yeah, it is mandatory in a sense that we are dealing with numbers. And all along, the idea behind this NASPA is to collaborate with all service personnel. Through our collective effort, we'll be able to do so many things. Myself alone, I cannot do anything for myself. That is why in the case of an individual getting injured in the process, it becomes very, very difficult for such a person to take care of himself.
All right.
As I'm speaking with you,
okay,
we have lost 2 service personnel already. We have on our desk their families calling on us to come to their aid. All these things, NASPA National cannot do it all.
And did they die in the course of serving the nation?
Yes, they just reported to do their service, and they died in the Brown region. 2 weeks ago, we had that report on our desk.
Okay, Yakubu, I'll have you hold on a while. Yakubu Muhammad Abdul Razak is NASPA's coordinating secretary, and they have introduced this new insurance package that a lot of service personnel are kicking against. I have a service personnel via Skype. He's joined the conversation to tell us what he thinks about this. Unfortunately, the line dropped. We'll be raising him on the line shortly. I've got about 3 national service people who are willing to contribute to the conversation, and they say they are not interested in this. They were not informed. Let's go back to Yakubu Mohammed Abdul Razak while we try to raise the national service personnel on the line. So, Yakubu, you were just telling us about some national service persons who died, and my question was, did they die in the line of duty? For example, were they going to work and they had an accident, or were they crossing a river and they drowned? Something like that.
Was even at the service head office. One gentleman who was working at the account unit of the National Service Head Office itself. He was returning from work on the Tema motorway. He died through an accident. These and many more other cases that we are talking about.
All right.
We are always challenged with issues of going to give the family 500 cedi, 200 cedi. What will he do?
So help us understand. We hear that if somebody dies in the line of serving the country, in the line of duty as a service personnel, they get 3,000 cedis?
Oh, I was coming to that.
Okay.
The package itself. when somebody dies in a process of discharging his duty to the national service, that a person, the family or the next of kin will be taking 15,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay. 15,000.
Temporal 15,000 Ghana cedis. That is death.
Okay.
Permanent disability is 15,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Temporal disability is 3,000 Ghana cedis.
All right. Thank you, Yakubu. I'll have you hold on now because I have Marilyn a clue. She's joined us via Skype. She's a service personnel. Hello, Marilyn. Thank you for joining us on Joy News Interactive. Hello, Marilyn. Thank you for joining us on Joy News Interactive. Well, we seem to be having a challenge there. Marilyn, if you can hear me, thank you for joining us on Joy News Interactive.
Okay, thank you, and good morning.
Good morning to you, Marilyn. All right. So
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you. All right. So you have a new insurance package from NASPA. A lot of your colleagues, service personnel, are kicking against it. What's your opinion, Marilyn?
Okay, so yesterday listening to your news at 6, I heard the complaints made by my colleagues. And for me, I think with the deduction of the 15 cedis, there are other things they can put that money like to a useful need. Like, for instance, I think for my colleagues in rural areas who can't have easy access to their workplaces, there should be a national service hostel in place. So maybe that 15 cedis deduction they are making, they can use it in establishing hostels to accommodate some of us and maybe make Metro Mass Transit available to be able to convey national service personnel who have difficulties in getting to their workplaces.
All right, Marilyn,
but
so you are not kicking against the policy per se. You want the money to be used in a different way.
Exactly.
All
because,
right.
I mean, how can they tell us the number of national service personnel who might have lost their lives, and how many of them would actually come to them saying to them that, you know what, my ward died through an accident whilst doing national service, and would actually come demanding for such money.
Interesting, Marilyn, because that was just my next question to NASPA's coordinating secretary, Yakubu Mohammed Abdul Razak. Now, Yakubu, if you're still on the line, here's a service personnel who thinks that good initiative, but I think that we don't really need an insurance package. What we need for you is to take those monies and use them for something else. And she also mentioned something very interesting that has to do with claims. How do you ensure that those who are actually coming for the claims are genuine? Hello, Yakubu. Yes. Yakubu, all right, let's go back to Sky because I have another national service personnel, and he's a person, I beg your pardon, and he's with the concerned national service personnel. He says they do not want this package at all. Hello, thanks for joining us. All right, we seem to be having a challenge with the line there. I'm sure you can hear me. If you can, you are with the concerned national service persons. What exactly do you want with this particular package? Well, we may have to take a quick breather here on Joy News Interactive. When we come back, we'll be discussing more. I'll be wrapping up this conversation on the NASPA insurance package, and then we'll be talking about Honorable or His Excellency Yisi Boateng's apology. Some Ghanaians say they are not interested in the apology, they want him sacked. What do you think? I'll be back with more. Thanks for staying here on Joy News Interactive. We are back to continue that conversation about the insurance package for national service personnel. Some of them don't want it. Others think, let's just reform it. We've been speaking to the coordinating secretary of NASPA. He's still on the line. Hello, Yakubu Mohammed Abdul. Thanks for holding on. Now, just before we took that breather, I engaged a national service person, Marilyn, and for her, she just thinks that it's a good initiative if you want to pool money and use it for the good of service personnel, but she thinks it shouldn't be in the form that it is now.
All right, thank you very much. I think she raised some excellent points there in respect of the accommodation problem. As part of the Congress in May, all these things were carefully thought through, and then deductions were made, those who just finished their service, towards taking care of some of the accommodation problems.
Okay.
In fact, we cannot do all of that at a go. We had a 14-bedroom transit quarters in Tamale. We're planning to cut short for another one in the same region. Western region, we have a project that was sold some time ago. We will be starting it next month.
All right.
And a couple of other projects that we are doing. Actually, we cannot do all of them at a go.
All right, Abdul, we just need to wrap up quickly now. Briefly tell us, how do people make claims and how do you verify if those claims are based on genuine incidents? Okay,
so just like people, by the end of the month, every service personnel returns their monthly report form to the service secretariat across the district. The same process will be applied. If you are serving in an institution, let's say Cocoa Board, and it falls within a particular district, claims forms are sent to the district office. An officer will be in charge of that. All verification and necessary process to ensure that you are a personnel and you will get your everything right.
All right, finally, sorry, Abdullah, that I have to cut in. Finally, why is this mandatory, and why do service personnel need to get onto a particular network to contribute to all of this?
In fact, we're looking at the data that we have on our hands, and then in respect of the numbers, we had over 80,000 people already on this particular network. We are also making available to SIM cards to those who are not on that network, so that they can take advantage of this particular project.
All right, Yakubu.
As part of the package, we have free browsing.
But you can do this with you can do this with all networks. For example, you have certain packages. There's a short code that you can use on all networks. So why not make this very easy for service personnel? For example, if I have 2 other networks and I don't have this other one that I need to get on to enjoy this package, I need to get 3 SIM cards.
I think this particular package is not that different from most of the packages we have on campuses.
Okay.
We go on campus for, like, say, University, for instance, and students were given Vodafone SIM cards. Whether you are on the other network or not, you are given Vodafone, and the school will continue to give you information on that particular platform.
All right, Abdul, I'm sorry we have to end it here, and we don't have a stable line on Skype, unfortunately, to get more or get more on this from other service personnel. But sure, the conversation will continue. Moving away quickly to another issue, looks like all the pressure mounted on President Akufo-Addo to take action on the discriminatory comments made by Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa has yielded results. So His Excellency Yisi Boateng has rendered an unqualified apology. However, some aren't satisfied. They claim this is not the action they were expected. I posted something earlier today on our Facebook page, posting his apology and asking some of you who are not satisfied with the apology what you make of it or what you think the president to do. So we'll scroll up quickly and we'll get those comments, and up is way up there quickly, and then we'll get some comments from you on this particular one. And really, a lot of people on Facebook and Twitter are saying we are not interested in the apology, just get him sacked. We'll view some 107 comments there, a lot of comments. Roger Dingdome says, all right, he thinks the High Commissioner is a disgrace, he's unrepentant, and don't forget he speaks what's in his mind. He will surely execute the agenda. That's according to Roger. He thinks that he's only apologized, but he will do what he said he would do. Kwarting says, you can jump into the ocean and do some deep sea drilling for all I care. Okay, and he says what you wanted to say is what you have said, and what you're doing in the dark is what has come to light. He says, shame on you, and he goes on and on. A lot more comments there, and we'll be wrapping up this show shortly. Mephibosheth says, I guess those who aren't satisfied with his apology are doing so because of their personal interest. I call them hypocrites. As much as I don't expect and condone such unguarded and undiplomatic comments from a diplomat, I find it surprising and hypocritical the way and manner we are giving weight to such an issue while there are more pressing issues to deal with. Yakubu Gariba says, open your eye and learn. In the 21st century, a democratic country like Ghana, the Kofi Annan and Ibn Chambers behave like that. I think it's time we reason up and stop the politics. And Mephibosheth comes back and says, was Kofi Annan a Ghanaian diplomat? Yes, he was, but maybe not an ambassador. Chumesi Amano Reynolds says now that he's apologizing to us, he thinks we are not so smart. But he said he won't change his mind. And now he's coming to apologize. Chumesi says, you know what, he still should be removed from office. Edward Ofori says, please, we are happy and we've accepted the apology. Stop throwing dust into people's eyes. Even Jesus Christ forgave us sins. How much more an ordinary creator? Says, forgive and forget. Ibn Wahab Tamale says, my problem is not to apologize or not. My problem is the way the apology is rendered and whether it's really coming from his heart. Clearly, he was pushed to do that without remorse, but this will not change his mindset. Isi Boateng is just belling a cat for the MPP. That's the mindset. He goes on and on. Awudu Tahiru says, it's not an honest apology. He waited to be criticized and compare him to the British Defense Secretary, who's resigned for something which happened 13 years ago. It says that's a loyal civil servant. And some have actually been saying, why wait 3 days before you render this apology? Well, that'll be all for Joy News Interactive. Before I go, I leave you with our video of the day. You know how we are all satisfied with what we have until we see what's in our friend's plate? Well, so that's a video of the day. I know some of you experienced that. So on Facebook, I asked you to tag a friend. You know, we'll do that. And Ma Amwa says, Whitney, Sisi, Zach, Jocelyn, Ohima Kwachi, see your lives. I'm very busy at work, so later. And Samuel Opoku Kusi says, this is so cute. Well, indeed, it is so cute. My name is Benis Abubedu. Many thanks for your company. Don't forget, we're still interactive on Facebook and Twitter. Our name is Joy News on TV. Do take care and enjoy the rest of your day.